What a place to be misplaced. She's an engineer.
When I would go to work, it's like, okay, I'm doing this, but do I really belong here, And then eventually got to a point where I was like, you know what, now is the time. I've always wanted to start my business. I've always wanted to be my own boss, so now is the time.
We are women. It means that we are brave, strong, capable, unique. We are woman to woman.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Back we are with Woman to Woman, especially for you. And can you tell us that another 30 days went by and we close to the end of the month of June. We had a very special show for the end of the month of May, and here we are, bringing to an end our month of June, proving that everything is possible, that you can go higher, that you can take off. Good afternoon to you, Toku.
Good afternoon, Mrs. M. Good to have you here.
Welcome to our show, Stephanie.
Thank you. It's good to be here, Ms. Marsha, Ms. Togo.
Today we are going to talk about the hustle. Which hustle is this? The hustle that many youngsters today, and mature people as well, go through, thinking or torn between two thoughts. What should I do? So we are exploring today the decision about being an entrepreneur. And before we go on, and Stephanie, who relates very well to that hustle, to that division of thoughts, we are going to watch how many people turned into being entrepreneurs, but out of this many, how many startups have really survived.
These are a few statistics of how many businesses fail in the market. About 45% of new businesses fail within the first 5 years in the world. South Africa has a higher failure rate of SMMEs than anywhere else in the world. 70 to 80% of our small businesses fail within 5 years. Starting a business is a dream for many, but the journey is filled with challenges. Cash flow problems seem to be one of the major problems that hit small businesses hard, especially in the second year, and the underestimation of how much capital they need to keep the company running. Market changes can catch owners off guard, and they find that they cannot adapt quickly enough to the new trends. Many businesses go a long run trying to be successful, but because of economic crisis, they don't finish what they started, resulting in a high unemployment rate across the world. Successful entrepreneurs often cite resilience, adaptability, and a willingness to learn from mistakes as a crucial factor in their eventual success.
Stephanie, I said you relate very well because you had been in that struggle.
Correct.
So tell us how it all started.
Okay, so it started in 2019. That's when I decided that I'm going to leave my job and actually become an entrepreneur. So when I was young growing up, I always had this vision, this dream of becoming a businesswoman. Like the appeal of it was very nice. It was glamorized. It seemed like they would tell us you'd go through hardships. And, but once you get through the hardships, you'll be able to make it out, you'll be successful. And I like the idea of that. I like the idea of being my own boss. So in the beginning, I didn't know what business I wanted to start. Mm-hmm. So I went to varsity. I studied engineering.
What field of engineering?
Civil engineering.
Civil engineering.
And then after that, I went straight into working, and I worked as a structural engineer. And then after a while, after working, I started to gain my confidence. I started to gain my confidence. I started to have the impression that I knew my place and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And that's when I was like, no, I want to start my business. Let me pursue my dream. Now is the time.
Mm-hmm. But let me ask you something. Did you like your field of action? Did you like what you studied for? And were you enjoying your current position, that position you were working at?
So this is the thing, I neither enjoyed it nor did not enjoy it. I neither liked it nor disliked it. So when I was in high school, I didn't know what I wanted to study. So I always say it was a high school decision, because I'm at that point, everyone's making a decision and kind of like, I need to make a decision what I'm going to study. So I was good in maths and physics. So I, you know what, let me apply for fields within maths and physics, and I landed in civil engineering.
But it has never been your passion.
It was never my passion. It was never my passion. Business has always been my passion, funnily enough. It's always been my passion. But then I decided, no, let me go through with it, studied engineering, started working as an engineer.
What is quite a very difficult profession. Not many people would adjust well to engineering. And you did well in your...
Mrs. Marcia.
Especially women.
Especially women, yes.
Because it's more predominantly male. field.
Yes.
You went well through your academics, you graduated, you found a job, but still you did not like it.
Yeah. There was this sense of, like, I wasn't fulfilled.
Like it was an emptiness inside of you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say an emptiness, but just like I felt wasn't in the place. I wasn't in the right company. I was misplaced, yes. Like I felt misplaced. I felt
What a place to be misplaced as an engineer.
Yeah. When I would go to work, it's like, okay, I'm doing this, but do I really belong here, you know? And then eventually got to a point where I was like, you know what, now is the time. I've always wanted to start my business. I've always wanted to be my own boss. So now is the time. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it. So that, and I got into business and I started to do, it was venture design, business development. I wanted to help other tech companies to kind of start up and do, even though I didn't have any experience, but I was like, no, I'm going to take this bold step and I'm going to help other businesses to design their venture and all of that. And I went through with it, and I think for like a year and a half.
How much was your business development business, so to say, related to the engineering?
Absolutely nothing.
Did you do any research before just jumping into this, seeing the needs of the market? How could you bring something new to the market that would differentiate your business from other businesses?
I really didn't. It was a very impulsive decision. I didn't go in depth and actually see what is the market like, you know, what would my position in the market be, what value could I bring, what was my value proposition. I didn't do any research at all. For me, it was like, no, now it's the time. I will see when I get there. You know, when people just say, no, just jump into it. If you want to start a business, jump into it. And that's what I did. I just jumped into it.
Literally.
I literally jumped into it.
How long had you been working in the company as an engineer?
It was a little over 2 years.
Were you not afraid just to resign and start your own business?
I was a little afraid. There was this sense of, okay, you know, what if things don't work out? You know, I'm taking this bold move and I'm telling everyone I'm going to start my business. And if it doesn't work out, how are people going to look at me afterwards? So there was this, you know, this discomfort. But then, you know, when you hear people who want to start entrepreneurs, they're always like, you have to be bold.
Did you have the financial condition to back up your business?
So I had savings, but at that time, I didn't realize that just having savings is enough. I needed cash flow. I needed money to be coming in. Yeah. So I was like, no, I'm going to live off of my savings and that's going to be enough. But at the same time, I didn't have any revenue coming in at all. So eventually when I started my business, and then I'll speak about that a little, you know, when we get there, but eventually through COVID, like the savings started to drain out because nothing was coming in.
And you had that dream, and you were carried away by, I will fulfill my dream.
Yeah. I was carried away by that sense of, and I will make it. I'll be one of those who make it as an entrepreneur. That sense of, I'll have that sense of fulfillment that I went after my dream and I can be an example to others. I'll tell others, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, you know. It's a bit vain when I think about it now, you know, but it's a bit vain. But, you know, like being able to tell others, like I started my business, I went into the hustle and I made it, you know, when you hear other people.
I think the motives behind were wrong.
They were wrong. My intentions were very wrong in hindsight. It was very wrong.
Yeah. But did you feel like when you wanted to start your own business, to be an entrepreneur, did you feel like it was the in thing? You know, women now, they are in power. Did you feel that?
Definitely. I wanted to be one of the women that actually made it in business.
So hashtag business making.
Yeah, hashtag I made it. All these hashtags. Yes. Woman entrepreneur, hashtag.
Yeah. That is what has been driving many. But reality strikes. And we are going to see where did it take her.
After the break.
So it is true, in most cases we do express ourselves with how we wear.
I even got advices that maybe they were not right for me.
We see achievement, but also we see that YPG lead them to have a complete life.
Do you want to watch our previous shows or might have missed one of the Women to Women shows? You can simply find us on UCKG SA, on Facebook, YouTube, and on Freedom On Air Radio, where you can relive every moment at any time.
The dream was there, the willingness was there. You had some backup plan for finances, but you did not expect the challenges that you had been through.
Let me correct you there. I did expect challenges. When you go into business, they always tell you you will face challenges, but don't worry, you will make it through. Just persevere, you'll make it through. So when I started, the first few months, it was okay. Everything was flowing. I was getting customers, I was getting clients, I was contacting my clients, I was getting interest, and I was excited. I'm like, okay, things are going to move. And then COVID hit, and then everything was at a standstill because clients are like, okay, we can't do this now because there's so much uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. And during that phase, I couldn't get any clients at all. So literally, I wasn't getting any money. So I was literally surviving off of my savings. And because I was surviving off my savings, eventually nothing is coming in. So everything is just going out. And I ended up with literally nothing. And I didn't know how to actually come up from there.
Would you work from home or did you rent a place? You established your offices?
No, I was working from home. So I did everything over the laptop. Even the people that I was hiring, there was freelance workers. So I'd get them, and they would,
A bit easier than having to pay rent and other...
Yeah, and having to pay...
employees.
Yeah, employees and all of that. So I worked from home, and for the first few months it was okay. It was going. I was starting to get there, and then the challenge came, which was COVID, which was very unexpected, and especially for startups. And I think it was from there when I started having to figure out, how am I going to make it out of this challenge? For me, I started to realize that, hey, I actually don't like this. I actually don't like business at all.
So you thought it was your dream first?
Yes.
Then now you just realized that actually you never liked it.
Yes, I never liked it. Like, I liked the appeal of it, being able to say that, I have my own business, but then there's a lot of administrative work that goes behind it, a lot of kind of thinking about what's the next step, where am I going to get the money for this. It's a lot that goes behind it that people never talk about. And I didn't like what was going on in the background. Honestly, I didn't like it at all.
So meaning that you went into business not knowing all those things. You will need people for administration, for this and that. You thought that is just going to be fun.
You have to do your tax.
Oh gosh.
Nightmare. You have to do all of this, and no one ever speaks about what happens in the background. And
you were prepared for some level of challenge.
Yes.
What were the challenges you had that you were not prepared for? Name a few.
The number one was COVID, not getting clients at all. I thought that the clients would come as long as I have my product out there, as long as I'm, connecting with people, I'll get the clients. I didn't expect a point where clients would be like, we can't do this now. This is not the right time to, going into venture design because the times right now are uncertain. So for me, that was like the number one that I can think of at the top of my head.
But I think for that one, many, if not a majority,
it's true.
Even huge companies in South Africa and all around the world, they were badly surprised by the COVID, by the lockdown, by the restrictions, and it really shook many businesses out there.
It affected a lot of people, Ms. Mas. It affected the rich, the poor, everyone, no race at all, all colors. Everyone was just affected. So I think as Ms. Mas is saying that everyone was affected, that one is for everyone. It was not only for you.
I say that we had a before and after COVID because we never thought about something so drastic that could come and affect the whole world. And now we have the after. So I think we are more conscious that we cannot guarantee 100% tomorrow. Even in business related, we give small steps because we are afraid to be badly surprised again by COVID. So of course, there was a huge challenge, but that not only for startups, but for everyone in business. A part of that, what else?
I think going through periods where you literally don't have money for anything. I think like when you don't have money to sustain yourself, yet alone to grow your business. So you go through a broke phase, you literally broke, you have nothing at all. And you don't know how to actually make it out of that. So those are the two main ones that I can think of now. Honestly.
Plus administration.
Plus administration. I think that was just irritating. It's one of those things like, I'm an administrator? Or another thing is, when you're working for someone else, that's one thing I realized. You only have one boss. But when you're in business, you have 1,000 bosses because all your clients are your bosses. And they're constantly reminding you that, hey, they have your business in the palm of their hands. I had one client who literally posted my business because I'd messaged late. I responded late and she posted my business on her WhatsApp. And she's like, oh, can you believe it? A business is doing this and you're paying money. So like, you have 1 million bosses and they're constantly reminding you that I want this, and they're demanding. So yeah.
So I think we here can speak about the first myth, that you're going to be your own boss. As a matter of fact, when you have business, the number of clients you have, it means the number of bosses plus the secretaries of those bosses calling you to follow-ups and deadlines and delivery of the products, isn't that?
Yes. And one thing I realized, even though that phase was hard, I realized the difference between me and other business owners is like they enjoyed the challenge of it. It's like they were excited. It's like, oh, this is a new challenge. How are we going to get out of that? And they were passionate. They were coming up with new ideas and for me, I was just flat. I was just like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't want to be here, Like, I don't know, how did I get to this point? I'm not enjoying the challenge. I'm not excited by it or anything. And I think that's when I started to realize that's when I started to think, hey, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right decision?
Besides, of course, it affected you financially, it affected you professionally. Did it affect your relationships, friendship, family, and your spiritual life?
Definitely. I definitely saw like a decline spiritually in my family. I started to become closer because I was embarrassed. Because now I used to be an engineer, I used to drive a car, I used to have everything. And people used to know me as that. And now it's like a decline. People are seeing me now, they're like, oh, okay, what happened? You used to be there and now you are, I used to be close. I didn't go out anymore, I was too broke. So I couldn't, uphold the relationships that I had, the friendships that I had before. I tried to push some of my friends away. I was a bit embarrassed. I was a bit uncomfortable with the situation. So I tried to push some of my friends away. Spiritually, I started to see a decline. I wasn't the same anymore. I realized I was angry at God. Like, how did I get here? And I had to come out of that. Yeah.
And you see that now the anger was diverted to God.
It was diverted to God.
Because He's not the one who said, choose this. You were determined, saying that this is what I was born for. This is what I want, only to find out that it wasn't.
Yeah.
Then now you blame God. And many people, Miss Marcia, they do this. They make wrong choices or decisions, then they end up blaming God.
And sometimes they even blame the church because we encourage those who have the gift, the talent, the perseverance to become entrepreneurs. Do you think that there was a little bit of that excitement and encouragement that led you to this? Or it was more like your dream growing up to be a businesswoman?
It was a mixture of both. When I'd come to church out here, constantly hear that, you can be start your own business, you don't have to work for someone. So it was a little bit of a push on that side as well. And top of that being my dream. So it's like the combination of it all was like, okay, now it's the right time for me to do this.
And sorry, Miss Marcia.
No, go on.
And it's not like the fault of the pastors, because they preach to different kind of people, business people, people who are looking for jobs. Then you as a person, it's your responsibility to see what really makes you happy.
Because as she said, there are those who love the thrill,
Yeah.
who see the challenges and opportunities to create something new. But that was not in you. So from having a dream of becoming a businesswoman, you graduated, you had your job, you had financial stability, then you risked that all. You find yourself being a businesswoman and dealing with the fact that you realized, I'm not a businesswoman by nature, only by choice. My own choice.
My own choice.
Am I right?
No, that's correct.
That affected your spiritual life. Because did in your mind come that sense of, but where is God? Because I'm doing this. I learned about this. I believed in myself. I believe in you. And why are you letting me down?
There were so many moments where I felt alone. I'm like, why are things not working out? And I would constantly say to God, your word says that all things come together for the good of those, who love you. So even if I took the wrong decision, should things not work out
From wrong becoming right.
Exactly. Should things not, work out in the end for me? And there was moments where, actually in the beginning, I remember when I took that decision, so many people actually tried to advise me, like there's nothing wrong with starting your business, but just know when the right time is. There's a right time to enter into the market. You need to test your idea. And I didn't listen to anyone. So people were actually there trying to advise me, but I didn't want to listen. I was so caught up in the emotion of it, in the impulse of it. I was just so caught up, and I just no, I'm going to do this. Now is the time to do it. And I was caught up in that whole image of how it would look like when I succeeded, that I didn't actually stop to think, put my emotions aside, and actually be like, okay, is now the right time? Let me do my research. Let me see what's happening in the market. Let me validate my idea. I didn't do any of that. I just jumped straight in.
So you try to compete offering basically the same that others were offering already in the market.
Exactly.
And of course, competition is so high. If you don't bring anything new, what differentiates your business from other business of the same industry?
Yeah.
So if you would start your business today, or maybe we're talking to someone who's thinking about that, what would be the first 3 major points that you would tell them, stop and think about this?
Okay, so when God finally came through and blessed me and put me in a path that I absolutely enjoy.
We're going to talk about that path soon. But I want you to say, if you're starting your business today, think about A, B, C.
Okay. Okay. Think about, will your idea work? Is your idea, you have to validate your idea. You need to put it into market, test it, see how it's going to react in the market. Secondly, you need to seek advice from others to see if now is the right time for you to be doing this. There are a lot of people that are knowledgeable about this, and it's good to get knowledge. It's good to get your knowledge, do your research, test the market, see what's happening in the market, and see, is this the right time for me to launch my product? And thirdly, and most importantly, you need to know who you are. Is this who you are? And ask God, is this me? If it's not me, I'm not going to enjoy it. You have to know that your personality, your interest, does it align closely with who you are? And you need to seek God. You need to ask God for that kind of guidance.
So I would say that all comes down to one point. Is it your purpose? Let us watch something very special that talks about purpose.
The journey begins with self-discovery. Purpose is not just a destination, but a compass guiding our daily choices. It is the reason for which something exists, is done, made, or used. It fuels perseverance and strengthens our resolve to overcome obstacles on our path. So reflect on what truly drives you. What brings you joy and fulfillment? Embrace change, explore new passions, and allow your purpose to evolve with you. Purpose consists of passion, persistence, and pushing boundaries both physically and professionally. Your purpose is to be impactful and to stand out. It's about enjoying the journey and becoming the best version of yourself along the way.
As we were talking about purpose, because when it is a purpose, you're going to go through the ups and downs, and you're going to say, no matter what, I will make it. I will have 1 meal a day, but I know why I'm here going through this. You realize that at a given moment, that was not your purpose.
For me, I reached a point where I was just at my lowest, spiritually, mentally, in my career, I was just at my lowest. And that's when I was like, something has to change. And I decided, now, because I'm at my lowest, nothing is working out. I've been trying this business thing. I don't enjoy it. I don't have passion to put, the effort into it. But now, because I'm at my lowest, now it's an opportunity for me to actually find the right path. It's now or never. We'll actually find something that will actually make me want me to wake up early in the morning. And that's when I realized, I'm like, no, let me do what I need to do. First thing, I went to God and I'm like, God, please direct me. Show me where I need to go. Put me on the right path. And I started to apply for jobs because I realized I don't want to start my own business. I don't enjoy the administrative side.
I like the part of the administration.
You're basically an admin. And yeah, I started to ask God, what must I do? What must I do? And I would apply for jobs. I applied everywhere. I applied at everything.
What kind of job were you applying for?
So I wanted something that would combine the business side as well as the engineering side. Since I had those two legs to stand on. So I would look into like the consulting space, the management consulting space. And I would apply, business analysts and around there. I took some courses trying to upskill just to try to make my resume look, better. And it was a very long process.
From the day that you resigned, you started your own company, until you found yourself in the moment of this very serious decision. How long are we talking about?
5 years.
5 years. So you have been in this roller coaster of pushing for your business and not getting it right and being frustrated and then thinking about I need to look for a job for 5 years.
For 5 years.
My God, I think that's a waste of years. If you had chosen the other way, you would have not wasted that much of time, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So it took 5 years. It's literally this year where I'm actually fully coming out of it.
I have a question, a sensitive one.
Yeah.
When you had that brilliant idea, I'm going to have my business, I want to be a businesswoman, did you pray earnestly as when now you saw it was not for you and you said, God, guide me?
When I look back, I believe that I prayed, but it was more like I was imposing my own idea onto God.
Yeah.
Like I was telling God, like, this is what I want,
And you have to bless me.
And you have to bless me. It's a bold move. We taught this in church. You have to bless, you have to give it to me because it will glorify your name. So I was imposing what I wanted upon God and making it seem as if that's what He wanted for me. But I didn't actually humble myself and be like, okay, God, is this what you want me to do? Show me the path. If this is what you want me to do, show me how I will do it. Show me the path. Show me something so that will give me the assurance that this idea actually comes from you.
And now when you had to make a decision to restart your employment again, you asked God.
First thing. I did not make that mistake twice. I couldn't. And for me, it was like I've already wasted 5 years of my life. I can't waste another year. So wherever I land, it has to be God. It has to be. There's no other way. God, you have to guide me. You have to place me in the right company. If you still want me in business, you have to show me. I don't know, something has to happen. But I need to have an assurance that I am here because you want me here.
Toko, do you know what I'm thinking about right now? That we have in the Bible the passage that says that we don't know ourselves. God is the only one who knows. Maybe God would not allow you to go into business if you have asked for His direction, not because He could not bless. I don't want to give a sense that because it was not God's will, He did not bless. I think that God knew your nature much better than yourself, because you thought it was your dream, I'll be a businesswoman, but God knew that you were not cut for that, that you had another purpose. You yourself didn't, but God knew. It's not that God did not bless her, but God knew that it was not what she was called for. It was not in line with her nature. It's more or less like, you're going to be a doctor. Your father was a doctor. You're going to be a doctor. But you hate medicine, isn't that?
Yes. Actually, sometimes things are imposed. Now when you are talking, I'm just thinking, my dad would say that in my house, I'm not going to have a psychologist. I'm not going to have a social worker. I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to have that. So he would say, I will only have lawyers. I will only have engineers. I will only have doctors. And all that for me was like, no, not me. It's you. It's for him, not for me. So sometimes really, as Miss Mercy is saying, that God knows, even our nature. For example, if my nature is that I don't want even to see blood, God knows that. You can't be a doctor if you don't want to. I can't, honestly speaking, I can't be a doctor. I have family members who are doing medicine and all that, but for me, it's not in me. It's not in me. So as Ms. Mercy is saying, I agree 100%. God knows. He knew about you.
And He really did, because when He finally did bless me, the job that I'm working in now, I absolutely enjoy it. Like, I genuinely enjoy it. And even someone who's close to me, when I tell them about the work that I'm doing, they're like, that is so you. Like, it's your personality. Like, when I picture you doing a job, that's what I picture you doing, because it aligns perfectly with my personality, aligns perfectly with my interests, and I genuinely enjoy it. It's one of those things I'm excited to wake up in the morning to go to.
So what are you doing right now? Did you manage to get the best from both industries?
I did. So I'm working on the business side of engineering. So we call it advisory and management, and we're working with municipalities across South Africa. And it combines the two, and I absolutely love it. I enjoy it.
And you have to do admin?
No.
There is a level of administration.
There's a level of administration, but it's good administration. It's like the good one. It's the one that's exciting,
So you really are not into administration?
No, I'm not. I'm not into administration, but this is like, it's the good. It's more like
reports writing. But of course, deep with municipalities, you need to have a level of admin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now it doesn't bother you anymore.
No, it doesn't.
It's not a burden.
It is not at all. I'm willing to make sacrifices to put the extra work in, to learn more, because I want to give more, because it excites me. Like even the current project that we're working on, I'm so excited about it. I was busy talking with my friend this morning. I was telling her what we do. I'm always talking about it because I genuinely enjoy it. Yeah. It aligns perfectly with who I am. And only God was able to do that. Only God. When I actually humbled myself and be like, okay, God, now it's in your hands. What is your dream for my life?
Yeah. So if today, or in 1 year's time, the idea of being a businesswoman comes back?
No. It's a no. And also because one thing that I learned was that when you have skill and when you're good at what you do, people automatically come to you. You don't have to start your business. They will come to you, and you're good at what you do. They'll be like, oh, I heard you do this. Can you help me with this? So you don't actually have to start your business. People will just be like, I'll pay you this amount and, I'll do this.
If today, after all you have been through, the experience you are acquiring at your workplace, today, would you go back and open your business? I say today, but maybe in a year's time, 2 years' time, do you see yourself opening your business again?
Definitely not.
Really?
No, not at all. I did not enjoy it at all. And I realized like the admin stuff, it's not me. And one of the things that I learned was that I don't actually have to start my own business to kind of work for myself. Once I'm learned in my field and I had gained experience, I gained the skill, people will automatically start to seek me out and be like, oh, I heard you doing this, you know, can you help me? And I've had a few of that. I've had people contacting me via LinkedIn, like, I need your help with this. We have this client. I can see on your profile that you've done this. So people are seeking me out and they were like, I'm willing to pay you this, you know, we can discuss the pay. So I don't actually have to go into the admin stuff of it, but just by getting that skill, I'm starting to attract
People.
people.
meaning that you're on demand.
Exactly.
And this is where many
Starting
people...
to be on.
yeah, starting to be on demand.
Now it's time for what it all means.
And many people, that's where they do not understand. They only think about, like, for me to be on demand, I have to be a business person. Because how can I be on demand if I'm working for someone? And many people do not understand that you can grow where you are working at, because you had to do courses so that you can expand more. And my husband usually uses this example of a fish. If you take a fish and put it in a small tank and you want it to grow, it will never grow, Miss Marcia, because it's limited. It's in a tank. If you want it to grow, you have to remove it from the tank and put it in the sea so that it can expand. So meaning that you can expand even if you are working for someone. You just need to see where you can improve as a person or as an employee.
Now, in this month of June, we brought to you the understanding, the vision of taking off. Nothing is impossible. You can conquer. And it might seem like as a clash, because I have here Stephanie, who had an experience on two sides. And she gladly comes and say, I'm happy working for someone else. I always say, imagine if the whole world decided to be entrepreneurs, how we would have service providers, how we would have people working in different areas and helping to grow. So we concluded this month with the understanding. For some, the C to grow, it is being their own business people, their own being entrepreneurs. For others, just like Stephanie, it is to be happy and growing, working for someone else, and becoming so relevant in the market that there will be a great demand without the pressure that not being ready to be a businesswoman made her not to cope. And today you safely say, I'm happy where I am.
I can safely say that.
You're taking off.
Like genuinely, I love it. And I know that I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to continue growing, learning, and developing in the field that I'm in. And I can honestly say that, you know, I really like my boss. Like, I love my boss. Like,
And it's only one.
And it's only one. It's only one. And he's teaching me. I'm learning so much in such a short space of time. I'm learning and I'm developing, and I can see that. And I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing myself developing. I enjoy seeing myself passionate about what I'm doing. It's so contrary to where I was, you know, just last year, you know. So, yeah.
I think you can safely say in this area you are fulfilled.
Yes, I have found my place. I'm no longer misplaced. I found my place.
And that we can conclude that, of course, God knew it. And He brought you exactly to where you would be fine, happy, and guided by Him. So I wanted to invite you to see God's point in this.
Now it's time for God's point in this.
Today we are going to enjoy the wisdom of Solomon. By the way, for those of you who never thought about that, Solomon was the first architect and engineer recorded in the Bible, because due to the wisdom God had given him, he was able to build the Temple of Solomon. He built majestic palaces, and he was awarded by the other kings as a man of great vision. His vision was his sea. And Solomon, in his wisdom, he said something that maybe you read many times, but you did not realize the meaning behind it up until today. Now it is God's point for you. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, verse 24, we read, "Nothing is better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that his soul should enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw was from the hand of God." Let us now understand it. There are many people who decide to go in the path of entrepreneurship. There are others who decide to work. Both are right, both may be wrong. Because if whatever you do does not bring joy, does not bring gladness to your soul, does not fulfill you, there is no purpose in doing it. What it was from the hand of God, it was the joy to eat, to drink, to rejoice in the works of his hands, provided that the work of his hands was not only to make ends meet or to have more money, in being totally unfulfilled inside. How many people in the church, they started their business, and the business really developed, but they got so involved with their business, they got so hostage of growing their business, and they all said, it is for the glory of God, it is for the honor of God, and they never enjoyed the process. Until the point that they left God because of their business. And there are also those who just found their calling, not even a career. They found their calling. And of course, if they would opt for something else, they would make a lot of money, but that would not bring them satisfaction. They don't see purpose in it. And they are happy working where they are working, doing what they are doing, having joy inside. So it's not only a matter to have your own business or to work for someone else. The real point here is, are you eating? Are you drinking? Are you having joy in what you do? Are you fulfilled? Because being fulfilled is what comes from the hand of God, not necessarily your business or your career, but what makes you fulfilled and what does not make you to part ways from God. Think about this. We're still going on encouraging you to take off, but in the right direction, putting God first. Because, as we showed to you, she didn't know herself. God knew. And today she is exactly where she could have been 5 years ago, much ahead, as a matter of fact, more experienced. And today you can safely say, I am happy.
I can definitely say that. And just to add on what Ms. Marsha said, it is never too late to seek your purpose. There's nothing more satisfying and fulfilling than waking up in the morning knowing that you are living out your purpose. So if you find yourself in a space, regardless of how old you are, and you know that this is not where I'm supposed to be, you can kneel down right now and you can ask God, God, what is my purpose? Please place me exactly where I'm supposed to be, because like I said in the show, I want to live out my purpose. I want to be fulfilled. I want to have that joy.
And today you do.
And today I do. I do.
Tuku, how can we give meaning to all that we spoke today?
She has done it. My part, she has done it already.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not a problem.
Just add on.
You've really rounded it up. Like, for me, finding your purpose is very important, and consulting God. Because in the beginning, you did consult God, but in your own terms, isn't it? So sometimes we consult God, but in our own terms, like we impose things, God, do this, is for your glory. Knowing deep inside that is not for the glory of God. So you have just to sit down and think, what I'm doing at the moment, be it business, maybe work, are you happy with what you are doing? Because we are not against people being entrepreneurs. We are not against that. You can be, but are you happy with that? If you are not happy, you have to know that you've been misplaced. You need to go to your right path. So finding your purpose is very important, and being happy with what you do. If you are happy with your business, it's fine. If you are happy with the work you are doing, maybe working for someone as an employee, it's fine as well. Yeah.
So we are coming to the end of the month of June, and maybe you are someone who needs to make a decision about your next step. We will pray for you so that God can show to you what to do, just like God has done with Stephanie. Let us pray. Our Lord and our Father, first of all, I want to give thanks for this month of June. I know for many this was not an easy month, but what I believe is that the challenges, the difficult situations, they come for a purpose. Maybe to shake things a bit and to lead people to a different direction. Maybe I'm praying right now for someone who is totally unfulfilled, void. They don't even know what they wanted to study or to do. They have a sense that the best would be not to do anything. But our life counts a lot. We cannot give ourselves the chance to be idols with our own life and to let the days pass without meaning. If they turn to you right now, if they ask for your direction, in this moment of chaos and loss, they will find their way forward. It might not be what they are thinking. It might not be the solution they are praying for. But because you know us better than we know ourselves, you know the right way. So I pray particularly for those who are at a dead end. Maybe they lost their job and they don't know if they look for another job. It seems they are not having any favorite response. Maybe they should go for their own business. Or they are on the reverse mode. They have their business and they are so frustrated. Give them the direction. We don't know. We explored both ends so that you could work in this moment, Holy Spirit, to each one of them, giving them the way forward. So in that purpose, I bless the month of July for all those who are fulfilled, who are not, for those who are at a dead end, for those who don't know what to do, knowing, my Lord, that you have the answer. And I pray that you give them right now the answer that you have, not their plans, but your plans for them. May the month of July bring great things in the life of your people. We determine that in one accord, in Jesus' name, amen. And this is it. Believe we have determined your blessing. I could say that you were at a dead end 30 seconds ago. If you have prayed wholeheartedly, God is already giving to you, in your mind, one word, one thought, one direction, which you will put in practice and you will take off. That's what we wish and pray for you. Until then, hoping you to give us your testimony, to share the blessings you received from today's show. Until next week, month of July, already half of the year.
Yes.
So it's time to seize what you couldn't do for the past months. God bless you all. Bye-bye.